One of my students, a kid, told him the earth was flat, and he said, my mom said I can't be friends with you anymore.
That kid is raised correctly.
You told him you didn't want to be his friend no more? He said, yeah. And then he tried to explain why he thought the earth was flat, and I just eased away.
Something that's amazing about being a teacher is that you're never just a teacher. You're a nurse when you need to be. You're a therapist when you need to be. There are situations where you almost feel like you're parenting.
A lot of situations.
You're a life lesson coach. It's like you wear a lot of different hats.
I'm a life lesson coach to you emotional chaos demons.
It's those moments where you're having a conversation with a kid that has nothing to do with the curriculum. You become closer than you've ever become in the past. I was talking to a student. A student was like, what do you think happens after you die? I'm like, okay, DeMonte, let's talk about this.
Let's get into it.
And I'm like giving him like my analysis of like my own belief system on it. And he's like, oh, cool. And then he goes back to sleep. That student and I, after that, he knows that I'm not just here to be like, sit down, shut up, and listen. If anything, it's like, speak up and speak up respectfully. Get what's in your head out of your head, because if it stays in there, it's useless. Let's just like talk about things that might matter, might not matter, but like, let's communicate one way or the other. When I was dealing with the worst teacher, who I'm not going to name, I showed up one day and I didn't have like a pencil to write with. And she like forced the class to not give me one. She was like, get out and go find one. For me as a student, I was like, you're just being blatantly disrespectful just for fun. She and I started going back and forth like crazy. I was like, all you're doing is trying to show that you have power, and you don't. So she kicked me out. I left the room and I went down to Mr. Cabrera's room. I needed to find a teacher that I could get my emotions out to so that I didn't get kicked out of the school, no money back from my parents, and disappointing them. And the fact of the matter is, I know that this woman is going to be the next 6 months of my life, and the rest of my life I'm never going to have to deal with her again. That's what put me through. But who taught me that? Mr. Cabrera.
What was it that like just she felt like you was too hyper, or you was disrupting her class, or like what?
I think that she saw loud students as disobedient students. It's a very old-fashioned way to look at education, and she had a lot of issues with a lot of students. My mom will tell this story to every single person. She went in for a parent-teacher conference. I was in 7th grade. This was an English teacher, Miss Roy. This was one of those teachers who's like willing to talk to me. She's like, yeah, he's energetic, whatever. She was like, he's a great kid. He's very hardworking. He's dedicated. But the tapping, the whole day I'd be like this. My mom would look at me and be like, that's the problem, is that you're tapping on your desk too much? Little did she know, I was like, I didn't even realize I was doing it. But here's the problem. In high school, remember how I told you about like the pen tricks? I learned these because I found out that it's a way for kids who might have undiagnosed ADHD to focus. And then what did it turn into a couple years later? Fidget toys.
You probably got a little PTSD from that desk being thrown at you.
Yeah, those are some light desks and some strong 5th graders. They're built different. This kid walked in and I was like, did you miss the high school? And he's like, no. And I thought it was bad teaching 5th graders. I taught seniors and juniors this year. Most of them could snap me over their knee if they wanted to.
I can't teach higher than 6th grade.
I had people talking to me about when I was starting that position, and they're like, those kids are massive. Like, what happens if something goes down? And I was like, listen, what you need to understand is you go into the year expecting things to kind of go wrong. But if you're looking at your kids and sizing up whether or not you could take them in a fight, you already need a career change. Yeah. You don't look at your kids and you're like, all right, he's 210. It doesn't happen.
The number one way to retain teachers is you have to pay teachers more money. Teachers do not make a livable wage in this country. The number two way you can retain teachers is give us some support for students' behaviors. The lack of pay plus the disrespect and you treating us like we're kids and taking the kids' word over ours and we are professionals. Y'all always talking about boosting morale. There ain't no morale left to boost because everybody tired. Can't pay their bills and they're tired.
Let's choose one at least.
Yeah, y'all are one.
50% is better than 0. I'll take that any day of the week.
One year I got through an entire curriculum training and school started and they said, oh, we're not going to use that curriculum. You what? Because I just sat through 22 hours over the course of a week of curriculum training and y'all tell us not to teach the kids from a PowerPoint, and this lady then stood up here and taught the new curriculum from a PowerPoint for 22 hours. Yeah. That's 22 hours of my life I could never get back. It's like a girl when she hits a curb in her car. Oopsie. It's like you got a flat tire.
This is not a curb hitting moment.
Your flat tires, your teacher's quitting. You want to retain your educators, keep your tires good, pay attention to them curbs. And changing the curriculum in the middle of the school year is curb.
My favorite was always getting the curriculum and then not having the training.
It's like I hate the training, but I also would like the training because I still got to use it.
The thing that's sad about being a young professional in a job that's selfless like teaching is that when you have that end of the year conversation about next year and they're like, you've done such an amazing job, you've enriched these kids' lives, you've made parents trust you, you have documented everything that you've done, you've created lessons that are so engaging and these kids love you, we're going to give you a $40 raise next year. They're expecting me to be like, shut up! And they'll be like, well, she only got 20. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing better than Kathy. You feel like you kind of can't defend yourself because in teaching, it's all very giving.
Kathy took that 20 straight to the liquor store.
Exactly. And that's a real teacher right there. In the first school that I was in, we had to clock in and out. It took a picture of us.
What?
You put in your little code, and then it took a picture of you to prove that it was you. Every now and again, just to screw them, I would like tap it in and then duck down so that they couldn't take my picture. I'd be like, I don't know, a ghost clocked me in. You know what happened? I get an email and they're like, if you're having someone else sign in for you, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. And I'm like, you're adorable. Now I'm gonna like make horrible faces. I've had a parent who, for like 5 years straight, her daughter was just like not reading. Teachers for the last couple of years just like kind of brushed her student to the side, passed her along, all this. In 5th grade, she was reading at a 1st grade level. Turns out she's dyslexic. When I sat down to have that meeting, I clocked it pretty quickly. And then I did like some of my own little tests while I was in the classroom. And I sat down with the parent. It could have gone one of two ways. She could have said, how dare you bring up any level of learning disability? You're obviously not teaching the right way. Find a different mode to teach. And I've gotten this before. Or we can consider the fact that students are on every different level across the globe. This parent went the other direction where they were like, I cannot believe that you were willing to stay after school an extra 30 minutes, run a test with her, actually sit next to her while you all do reading comprehension exercises and clock the issue. And now she like got herself into a nice school. In the end, if a parent is willing to help you, that student is getting help on both ends of their life. I had a kid ask me, not joking, no sarcasm in their voice, if I've planned my funeral yet.
Why would I ask you if you plan your funeral? I don't know, kid.
Because in their minds, I'm in the 3rd quarter of my life.
Oh, how old are you?
27.
I'm in the 4th quarter in overtime if you... I'm only 34.
They think I'm like ancient. I got called vintage. You wanna know why? Because they looked up the definition of vintage and it's like anything that's over 25 years. So they're like, technically you are vintage. And I'm like, technically you are gonna fail my class now.
I ain't gonna lie. That is diabolical.
It is.
Vintage, you looked it up, says over 25.
No, they don't hit you with a tree. They plant seeds. That's what they do. They plant seeds so that later in the day, I'll be up at night like, do I look like a Who from Whoville? Where are you, Christmas? No, I'm done with it.
One kid was like, Miss Richardson, I can see your lace. Your hair is ugly. First of all, my hair costs more than your mama makes, so shut up. I mean, because at some point, I know Michelle Obama said if they go low, you go high. But something about him coming for my hair, and it was a boy that came for my hair. Because mind your business. Looking like your barber fell asleep on the job. Stop.
Do you for real clap back at them?
Yes, you have to. You want me to just sit there and take it? One time I clapped back, my principal was in the doorway. I was like, oh. If I know it's a kid that didn't mean to insult me on purpose, I may take a second. How you want me to survive? If a teacher say they don't say nothing back, you lying or you can't make a comeback after 8 seconds. Like, you got to be quick.
I decided to go to this barbershop. There was some dude in the back sitting in his chair on his phone. And I found out very quickly, speaks straight Spanish. I'm like trying to translate with the guy, a little bit off the top and then like pull in the sides a little bit. He gets a 0 and goes, so he takes out this cube of my hair and he's like, how is that? And I go, well, you're not gonna put it back on. Let's go. I look like the guy from Ringling Brothers with the really tall hair, but nothing on the sides. The reason I tell this story is because my first period the next day was my 6th grade class. They dragged me through the mud in a way that I did not think was real. They called me every single thing. I swear to God, I took a sick day till my hair grew. I'm sitting at home and I'm like, I'll be back when I get back. I'm cool with this. And then as soon as I got my hair back in order, COVID. I got told my bottom row of teeth look like a mountain range. I'm gonna do a rest of the podcast like this.
Boston kids are a new breed. Got your bottom row of teeth.
They told me my kneecaps are weird.
What is it with kneecaps?
It's given when Kevin Hart told Dwayne Wade he looked like he didn't wash the back of his knees. After he said that, I was like, dang, do I be washing the back of my knees?
These kids are making fun of my knees, and then I go a whole year without wearing shorts, and they're like, do you own shorts? It's like 100 degrees in this room. I'm over here dripping sweat, and I'm like, no, I don't.
Y'all don't get to throw shade because y'all wear hoodies when it's 110 degrees in the shade outside.
I had a mini basketball hoop in my room. I had students in clusters of 4. I'd put up a definition, they'd put up the vocab word that they think it is. And then we'd go around to each table and we'd add in little tallies for each person that got it right. But the thing that made it fun was that if you got it right, you had the opportunity to double, triple, or quadruple your points. So if the hoop's right here and you shoot from right here, the like free throw line, you can double your points. Triple is like another 2 feet back.
I'm trying to get that question right.
Exactly. I can play this game and like, who's going to get hurt? They designate one kid to walk up to the front of the room, take the shot, and if they make it, great, you get 4 times the points. And if they miss it, like whatever, it's hard. Like I can't make the shot either. It's games like that. They're harmless. They're focused. It's group work. I just don't see the negative.
The Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, because they are illustrated, kids don't feel like they're reading a novel, when in actuality, those Diary of a Wimpy Kid novels are like a high Lexile level. Because you got kids that like, they are not good readers, but they read the Diary of a Wimpy Kid book and they finish the entire book, and I'm like, hey, you know you just read a novel. And they're like, no, I didn't, that was a comic book. And I'm like, no, it's not.
In Massachusetts, character development's like one of the massive standards. If you're reading like the anime books that kids love, the density of character development in those books, and they don't feel like they're reading anything because it's all visuals.
Graphic novels too, like those absolutely count.
One of the books that the kids love, the Wings of Fire series, that series is a graphic novel, and the kids just race through that. They got me reading graphic novels. I was like, I guess I'll go read The Walking Dead.
Some of these kids have been told since they were in first grade that they were behind, that they're not good readers, and then like all of a sudden you give them a graphic novel and that kind of opens the door. They're like, wait, maybe I am a reader. Maybe it's not that I'm a bad reader.
We used to have Peacemaker of the Week as incentive, and we would give them like a toy. We would give them like this little card that said like Peacemaker of the Week is this kid. We would like do like these nice pictures of them holding it up. They could like leave for recess 5 minutes early. It's great because it's like, it incentivizes what kids do over the course of the week, rather than like, that was a good choice, thanks for doing that. Yeah. We always kind of like buried the line where it was like, this kid did all of their work, they helped out the people around them, they were respectful, helped work with a kid who didn't understand the directions. Our first Peacemaker of the Week is blank. And they loved it.
And it gives time for kids to win awards that are not academically always like at top notch. Because it's like, if you watch everybody be always on the honor roll list and you're like, dang, I'm doing my best, but my best is a C, but you're good at like acts of service or helping other people or, you know, rallying the masses, it's nice to, you know, like, you look at you got the citizenship award. And they're like,
skill. Right. That's like management skill. I think that should get as much credit as anything. Have you ever played rules?
No.
We're going to play right now. When I tell you to clap, you clap. When I tell you to say your name, you say your name. Ready?
Yeah.
Name.
Bree. Chess.
Clap. Clap. Name.
Chess.
Clap. So now, when I say clap, you need to say your name. When I say name, you need to clap. Clap.
Jess.
Bree?
Bree?
She says your name.
You say my name?
No, I said Jess, but she said Bree.
I don't know the rules yet.
Name.
Bree?
No.
What? No, you said start over. You said now that you know the rules.
Now that you know the rules, when I say clap, it's name. When I say name, it's clap.
Oh, stop playing with me. That's why I'm single, because I don't play mind games.
We used to have Peacemaker of the Week as incentive, and we would give them like a toy. We would give them like this little card that said like Peacemaker of the Week is this kid. We would like do like these nice pictures of them holding it up. They could like leave for recess 5 minutes early. It's great because it's like, it incentivizes what kids do over the course of the week, rather than like, that was a good choice, thanks for doing that. Yeah. We always kind of like buried the line where it was like, this kid did all of their work, they helped out the people around them, they were respectful, helped work with a kid who didn't understand the directions. Our first Peacemaker of the Week is blank. And they loved it.
And it gives time for kids to win awards that are not academically always like at top notch. Because it's like, if you watch everybody be always on the honor roll list and you're like, dang, I'm doing my best, but my best is a C, but you're good at like acts of service or helping other people or, you know, rallying the masses, it's nice to, you know, like, you look at you got the citizenship award. And they're like,
skill. Right. That's like management skill. I think that should get as much credit as anything. Have you ever played rules?
No.
We're going to play right now. When I tell you to clap, you clap. When I tell you to say your name, you say your name. Ready?
Yeah.
Name.
Bree. Chess.
Clap. Clap. Name.
Jess.
Clap. So now, when I say clap, you need to say your name. When I say name, you need to clap. Clap.
Jess.
Bree?
Bree?
She says your name.
You say my name?
No, I said Jess, but she said Bree.
Name.
Bree?
No.
What? No, you said start over. You said now that you know the...
Now that you know the rules, when I say clap, it's name. When I say name, it's clap.
Oh, stop playing with me. That's why I'm single, because I don't play mind games. What's some of your favorite classroom games?
As a teacher, what do I watch when I want to watch a game that's entertaining? I go to Jimmy Kimmel. So he has a bunch of different games, and obviously you can't really play Drinko, but imagine if it was you answer a question from a study guide, and then you get to do this, and then if it lands in a cup, you get a prize.
Yeah.
I've done that so many times. I didn't call it Drinko, but I built this friggin' thing out of wood, and I brought it into the classroom. I give you a question from the study guide. If you get it right, you get to go do that and possibly get a prize. Sick. If you get it wrong, okay, well, let's find someone else that can get you the answer. It helps them access the content that you're doing without making it so basic and boring.
In our state, in Virginia, they encourage admin as well as school counselors or anybody in leadership to only teach for 3 years.
I had an admin that only taught for like 2 years and then went into an admin position. And whenever we'd have a meeting, I'd be like, I'm in my 3rd year. I know more than you. Stop it. What are you doing? It's hard to take an admin seriously when they were in the classroom for 18 months. What are you talking about? And you didn't get out after 2 years for no reason. The kids hated you. They hated everything about you. They told you something that made it so it's hard to sleep at night. And then you quit. So you became an admin. I had a kid walk in with a shirt that said MILF Hunter. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, that's not real. He's looking at me, he's like, huh? I'm sitting there, I'm like fighting back demons, trying not to laugh at it. And like another 11th grader, I had a student come in with a shirt that said, I am high right now.
Oh, jeez.
And then I look up and he's like... And I'm like, yes, you are. Like, where's Cheech and Chong? Like, I know, all right? I can smell it, I can see it, but like, it's funny that he wore the shirt just to like confirm it. It's like, oh, what's David doing?
What I do to try to, I guess you could say, combat my yappiness is I incorporate a lot of projects. And so I had one of the kids, I was like, okay, I need you to redo this because while you did great on the project, the labels, I can't read them. They look like scribble. And you know what he said to me? He looked me dead in the eye and was so serious and said, hey, I'm just so good that I don't scribble. I write like a caveman. And I'm like, no. And you know what? His creativity level on that grade, I had to boost it up a notch because I had to give him a prompt for that. It's so funny because also when I'm assigning projects, sometimes I'll do like a children's book. I said, okay, well, take what we learned and break it down for a kid to understand.
Yeah.
And so I said, guys, make sure it's colorful, make sure it's creative. Yeah. A kid, no lie. They bring you something after 5 minutes that's written and drawn in pencil and it's black and white. I'm like, I said colorful and creative. He said it is creative. It's a coloring book.
That's tough.
It's hard, guys, to be mad at that.
What's some of your favorite classroom games?
As a teacher, what do I watch when I want to watch a game that's entertaining? I go to Jimmy Kimmel. So he has a bunch of different games, and obviously you can't really play Drinko, but imagine if it was you answer a question from a study guide, and then you get to do this, and then if it lands in a cup, you get a prize.
Yeah.
I've done that so many times. I didn't call it Drinko, but I built this friggin' thing out of wood, and I brought it into the classroom. I give you a question from the study guide. If you get it right, you get to go do that and possibly get a prize. Sick. If you get it wrong, okay, well, let's find someone else that can get you the answer. It helps them access the content that you're doing without making it so basic and boring. All staff must wear 3-piece pantsuits bought by the teacher. You're so adorable. You should bring that to stand-up comedy. Bought by the teachers, I will buy one and I'll wear it every day. I will smell horrible by Wednesday. It's not doable. I sweat in the most mellow of situations. We have air conditioning in here. I'm sweating. Imagine me in a 3-piece pantsuit. I'd sweat straight through it. I would look like James Bond went swimming.
There is a stigma tied to tennis shoes. My student says, Miss Rob, you can't trust anybody that wears black Air Force Ones. They said white Air Force Ones is one thing, but they got all black Air Force Ones, they want some trouble, Miss Rob. And I was like, what? But you know what's going to be easy, though, is running away from somebody wearing Air Force Ones, periods, because they don't want to crease their shoes. So they walk like ducks anyway. So I can run from you, boo.
Yeah. Staff cannot change their hairstyle the entire school year.
Oh, that's crazy. Speaking as a guy who's had the same haircut since he's 16.
I've had this haircut since I was 12.
I can keep my hairstyle the same if the weather stay the same all year long, okay?
Sure.
Because the moment humidity hits, this naturally curly Felicity type of curl blows up. So, like, I straighten it and then recurl it, but then I can tell you right now, if I were to walk outside in some humidity, this is gonna blow up. So listen, that's a whole nother hairstyle, which puts me in a whole nother attitude. So if you want me to come to school with a positive attitude and teach my students in a positive way,
And not anyone.
y'all, I was guilty. I tried to go into work with heels on as a new teacher. I was strutting, had the suit, the whole thing. I was dressed to the T. You can tell, like, also, most of us, the first day of school, we're all excited. We kind of look nicer most of the time. And then by mid-year, you're like t-shirt, jeans. By end of the year, you lucky I don't show up in pajamas.
Mid-year? By Halloween, I'm in sweatpants. Are you kidding me? The school that I'm at right now, it is so remarkably chill. The principal specifically said an uncomfortable teacher doesn't do a good job.
Ooh, well said.
It's like I can wear whatever I want every single day. So almost every single day for me this year was a hoodie, a pair of either black or blue jeans. Sometimes I wore shorts until some kid saw my calves and yelled, "Ah!" And I was like, what? And she's like, they look like pencils. And then I didn't wear shorts for the rest of the year. And honestly, it did help me. There were some times where I wanted to sleep and did because I was comfy, but like I was really happy in the school the whole year because I was so comfortable.
Yeah, it changes your whole mood.
100%.